I mean, I think, don't you feel like you want to be known? You want to be understood? And I think that what you're talking about, having that community of people that the more you share your story, you realize maybe for the first time, you're not the only one that feels this way. And all these other people have gone through the same thing. The situation might be different, but the feelings are the same. And that's what creates this community.
That's exactly it. Think about all the things I've been through. Think about what you've been through, right? You know what? It's a lot to go through that. And sometimes we're ashamed, we silence, we don't tell it, we're embarrassed. But imagine a community where you can just be like, hey guys, look, this is what I've been through. I feel like this. I want to talk.
Right.
And then think about it. And people are like, yeah, wow, I get it. You know, we're here for you. Express yourself. Don't feel ashamed. You're not alone.
So up until you came up with this idea, who was your community? What was your community? For people that are listening that are going through cancer, I'm sure they want to know, like, what did you do? Because they're clinging on to like their chemotherapy and their radiation appointments. What else should they be doing? Who should they be talking to besides joining your app? But what did you do?
Join meetup groups, get positive groups. Like I was a part of positive meetup groups and positive support groups. They're online, right? Mm-hmm. I would always type in positive because I didn't want the whole negative and people talking. That was very important to me. Positivity. It was very, very important to me. And so you got to find your connection and find your jam. Don't do it. That's what was important.
Right. Did you go see a therapist at this time? Like somebody who had some credentials, or you just found that people that knew what you were going through because they had similar experiences were better?
Good point. I went to a therapist and a coach because I think you need both, right? Mm-hmm. I'm a coach and a therapist. A therapist does a deep dive and unpacks and uncovers like the trauma and the deepness. A coach helps you take action steps to do next things. What are you doing next? Let's not stay in this. What's next?
Got it. How long have you been a coach?
Oh, since 16 years. So how I got into it I went to a clinical trial at Johns Hopkins when I was going through this, and I would go to my clinical trial. I would go in sequins pants and like sequins dresses. I was dressed to the nines. I literally would wear like red dresses, faux fur, lipstick, hair, all of that. And I would be like, give me my chemo.
Oh my God.
Heels and everything. Because I was living, not dying.
Right.
And literally, let me tell you, I used to pass out affirmations and manifestations and recipes to people and like, look, it's just a bump in the road. That's all this is. And my doctor was like, who is this girl who is positive? Like, who is this girl in sequins and reds and greens? Because you are what you think. If I came in sweatsuits and no hair, I mean, you're dying. Literally, she wanted me to be the keynote speaker. And I was like, me, the keynote speaker? So I was a keynote speaker 15 years ago for an event for Johns Hopkins. And literally, I got a standing ovation. I stood up and said, I'm not a statistic, and neither are you. Don't be a statistic. Be a goddamn warrior.
I love that. And it's so interesting. Listen, we know so many people, and I'm sure we've all done it ourselves, have walked through different parts of our lives being completely not present. And it's almost like when you get that kind of information and you decide to start taking your life seriously, that's when you really live. And any one of our lives could end tomorrow. I mean, just because someone was diagnosed with 3 to 6 months, for all we know, we could get hit by a bus in 3 to 6 months. So I think the message here is like, every day when you wake up, you can start a new day with a new positive mindset of thinking, I'm going to live in the moment and I'm going to live like I might die tomorrow or in 3 months. And that could completely change your life around because it obviously physically changed yours around.
That's so true. That's it, right? Live your life like it's your last day, because we're always saying tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, tomorrow just may not come.
Yeah.
There may not be a tomorrow.
So I'm curious about did you pray a lot? I mean, I know there are a lot of people that believe in faith. Did you pray to your mom? Did you who did you?
I believe in meditation and I believe in prayer because it quiets you. With all this chaos in the world, it's like we're doing all of this stuff, and I needed to get support from above.
Yeah.
And I prayed to my mom and I prayed to God and I meditated. Because hold on, this is more than an app. It's a movement, Rachel. And I want you a part of the movement. I'm going to give you something after that. Like
I can't wait. Yeah.
you
I
a
mean,
part of
who
this.
doesn't need to be part of that movement, by the way? You know what I mean?
Exactly, like tagging your 3 friends who are warriors and letting them be a part of it and tagging their friends as warriors because mental health is real. Look, we just had a killing in a school 2 days ago, then another killing just 2 weeks ago. I mean, every 2-3 weeks, there's a mass shooting.
Right.
Think about what your kids are going through. Think about what the youth are going through. They're suffering in silence.
No, I know. And it's interesting. You know, I have a 12-year-old daughter and I watch when I pick her up, you can see like if she's had a bad day based on her body language, and they don't like to talk to their parents. You know, you ask them what's wrong and they don't want to tell you anything. But like being a kid is so hard. It sucks. I would never wish to relive those years. You know what I mean? And then you hear about these kids that commit suicide at age 12, 13 because of the bullying, the level of bullying and being mean. What I wish that I could say to kids who are being bullied is like, oh my God, the kid that is bullying you is so insecure and feels like such shit about themselves. So if you look at it from that perspective, not like, oh, I'm the loser that's being bullied. It's like, that kid is such a loser, you know, like that kid is the one that is suffering. Yeah.
Yep. And then you know what? That's what we need to go around and doing, like telling these kids that it's not you, it's them.
Yeah.
So they're really, and it's sad because they're really suffering in silence.
Yeah.
They've been abused. They're getting bullied. They don't love themselves. And so they want to do it to other people. Hurt people.
Exactly. Okay. So I want to also ask about the stress. Like, did you feel like and currently now even, do you try and make sure you mitigate stressful situations because that can affect your physical health?
Mm-hmm. Let me tell you, I don't deal with toxic people anymore. I just don't. I don't want to deal with toxic people. Because they're toxic. Friends, like I now have real friends. I have real people who support me. You know, I'm launching this app on Tuesday. I had friends flying from Jamaica, LA, Chicago, Turks and Caicos. I have real friends coming. You know how I'm not doing it alone. I think it's time that we as women start supporting. So my stress level goes down because I meditate every morning. I take a walk and I'm like, I breathe. I don't want to deal with any negativity at all.
So I want to get into the logistics of the app, but tell me quickly, at what point did you start to notice physically that your symptoms were getting better and finally you went into the doctor's office and you were told that you were in remission?
You know, well, 5 years is, no one ever thought I would make it to 5 years. We were all like, 2 years, they're like, oh, you're doing good, but maybe 3 years, you're doing good. They were trying to not let my hopes get up. But then 5 years, we're like, oh, Bershan. Okay, and then it was like, doctors like, oh, and then they're like, you're a damn warrior. Okay, you're the poster child. Like, you're not sick, you're not dealing with anything, and you just believe in your health and you believe in yourself. I think that was it. So I meditate every day. I'm telling you, meditation, going to get massages, exercising, those 3 things do it. I don't want to be on anything negativity. Like, it's too much negativity in the world. Right. So anything that's stressful and that's why I look at you and I'm like, oh my God, I love her. She's traveling. She's on a boat. She's living life. She's looking good. I love that.
Yeah. Well, it's all I try and do as much as I can so I don't get depressed, like it's hard. I'm a single mother. I live in Florida. Like I'm always hoping I'm going to find the one or, whatever the situation is at the moment. I'm always trying to do better with my show. I'm trying to figure out my second act of life. And I think, I just try and remember, put one foot in front of the other, always show up. You never know what's going to happen. If you don't show up, nothing will happen. I try and be reliable. There are things that I've learned from things not working out in the past. So like, I try and do right. But like, the mental, there are things that I have gone through in the past where you just can feel defeated. And it's more like when you put your head down on the pillow in the night and the lights are out and it's just you and your thoughts. That's when life slows down and you really can let negative thoughts creep in, which is why it's so important what you're saying to like have these positive affirmations and to make sure you talk nicely to yourself because you should believe these nice things and have that in your brain except instead of the negative things.